So I went down the wrong trail and it's way too tight. So I've had to back up, and that's very hard to do by yourself. I mean, I hit so many brushes, it's ridiculous. I'm trying to get out of this. It's like a creek bed or something. I don't know what the heck I'm doing here. But I gotta get back out of this. Here's the creek bed I went down. This was a mistake. It's way too narrow. Hi, I'm David Trace with the Autopian. I'm here in the Eastern Sierras with a 1991 Jeep Wrangler YJ that's been completely covered in XPEL PPF, paint protection film. The beauty of it is that means I can go through nasty off-road trails covered in brush and twigs and sticks and whatever and not have to worry about my paint. Have a look at this paint. Look at how nice the PPF looks on it. Oh wait, you can't see it because PPF is clear. It goes right over top of your paint, which on this thing, amazingly, looks great. It's a 30-year-old car with really nice white paint. You can actually see the PPF. If you look on the inside of the hood, you can see they actually wrap it around so that you don't see the sort of seam, and also so that it doesn't get caught. It's really seamless. The car, it just looks like it normally would, except it's protected. Let's put it to the test. Why have it if you don't use it? I drive it around the city? No. Let's take it off-road and make it work.
This trail was recommended to us by someone in the auto industry who is really well versed on off-road vehicles. In retrospect, we should have brought another car because this trail brought us out to the middle of nowhere. We were hours away from anybody. The trail, he told us, was going to be tight, like really tight.
All right, yo. It's getting denser, this trail is, so we're gonna see if it's overgrown. Gonna see if we put this PPF to the test. We really are in the middle of nowhere. We'll show you on the map where we are. It's we have seen no vehicles on this trail, and we will see no vehicles on this trail. I have every tool I own in the back of this, just to be careful. And I just replaced the fuel pump yesterday. So, yeah. And our friends know where we are. Ideally, you would be with a partner, you know, buddy system, but it is what it is. A little bit of rock climbing here. Oh, the Jeep. Oh, I love this thing.
I'm driving a bone stock 1991 Jeep Wrangler, and though it has 200,000 miles on the clock, the previous owner was a painter, and he replaced all the sun-faded paint with a nice coat of white. It is hard to find a bone stock, good-looking Wrangler these days. They're all lifted and their paint's all messed up. This one is nice, and I plan on keeping it that way.
We're in this like tight ravine right now. It's really, we've got slopes on either side of us. We have a little hill climb here. I'm curious to see what it's gonna reveal. Oh, a lot of shale, it looks like. A lot of rock. Okay. See this, got a ledge up here. There it is. Uh-oh. Okay. You're gonna have to give it a tiny bump. Oh, a little bump. There it is. Stalled it. There it is. All right, this trail right here would be a nightmare for a Bronco Raptor, a Bronco, even a Wrangler. The brush is so, this is such a narrow trail that this would just pinstripe a new Wrangler or new Bronco Raptor. Again, I have a narrow Jeep, but I think eventually I'm gonna run out of room and we're gonna be scratching some stuff. So, but yeah, this is a trail, exactly the type of trail where a modern, even like a Tacoma, like a modern off-roader, things would get real dicey if you were worried about your paint. Things are getting tight here. This trail is just a sand road, and there are shrubs here, and they're not like lush green soft plants. These are some stiff plants that have not seen water in a long time. Like this, if this hits your car's paint, it's leaving a mark. These are brittle plants, and it's they are making no effort to stay off the trail here. Oh boy. Okay, now we're getting it. Look at that. It's like, this is tight. And I'm in a tiny Jeep. This just literally would not work in a modern Wrangler or Bronco. Definitely not a Bronco Raptor. If you just bought a brand new car and you've got shiny paint on it, this trail is your nightmare. Trust me on that. Okay, let's look. We just got out of the dense brush. I want to see what that passenger side looks like. You always favor your driver's side. That's just because it's here, you know, you can sort of position yourself. But the passenger side's so far away that it tends to take the brunt of it. Let's have a look. Look at my fenders, the fender flares. See all those stripes right there? The thing about this brush is this is hard stuff. This is like a twig, and it will gouge your car. And you can see it's gouged the rubber here. And if you keep going, you can see there's even scratches on my back of my this mirror here. Some even on the door handle if you look really closely. And then the back fender, you can see, look at all these scratches. But, and look, here's the paint. You can see that there are gouges from, or at least what appear to be gouges, but look, it just, look at that. That's it. It's self-healing. So like you can go through all this stuff and not have to worry about it. Your flares, okay, it's rubber, whatever, you can barely tell. The paint is what you need to protect because that is expensive. And it's cool just seeing parts of the paint that looks like they're pinstriped. You just wipe it away. Bob's your uncle. Let's keep off-roading. So I went down the wrong trail and it's way too tight. So I've had to back up, and that's very hard to do by yourself. I mean, I hit so many brushes, it's ridiculous. I'm trying to get out of this. It's like a creek bed or something. I don't know what the heck I'm doing here. But I gotta get back out of this. Here's the creek bed I went down. This was a mistake. It's way too narrow.
Luckily, the Jeep just kept holding up, and it kept slogging through that trail, even though that trail was beating it up. It was so narrow, but after miles and miles and miles of that, we finally took it back into civilization to assess the damage.
That was a long day of off-roading in the middle of nowhere through some dense brush, and actually, the Jeep has some damage on it, and I'll show you it. First off, the obvious damage, are the scratches here. And there are some gouges in this fender. If you look at a distance, it's hard to tell. You have to sort of line it up. You can see there are little dents in the hood from a couple of sticks. It's pretty hard to tell, especially in the light. And then, if you keep going, you see the scratches, they go all the way across. Look at these fender flares. All those scratches, gouges, they go all across the top. Look at these, look at that scratch right there, wow. Look, there are even some scratches on this. Look at that. That's in the paint of this bracket here. But here's the thing. This you can replace for nothing. These you can replace for nothing. And black scratches, not a huge deal. The dent is slight enough. The biggest problem going on a trail like that, the most expensive worry would be paint damage. That's just reality. And there's just none. There is not any paint damage. It scraped along and it didn't leave any cuts in any paint. It didn't even leave any cuts in the PPF because it heals itself. You just, it might leave a couple of stripes, but actually after a few seconds it's gone. You don't see anything. So I'm gonna wash it and you'll see there will be no indication that we did any hardcore off-roading in the paint. There'll be no indication. There will be plenty of indication in the fender flares, and maybe you'll see a little ding in the hood. But the expensive damage has been avoided, and it just shows why PPF, XPEL PPF, makes so much sense if you're driving an off-roader with nice paint and you don't want to be restricted. If you're going to spend all this money on big tires and lockers and all this stuff, and then you're going to see trees and be like, actually, I can't do that, what's the point? Give yourself real capability. Get XPEL PPF. I'm convinced. This is obviously a amateur wash job here. Look at how easy that comes off. Are there any marks in the paint? Any stripes? Anything? I mean, if you look at it really closely, even if you look at it really closely, there just isn't anything there. If you're an off-roader and you have a nice vehicle with paint you don't want to mess up, does PPF make sense? It will protect your paint. It just will. I'm a big fan. I'm pumped that I get it on this vehicle and it's warranted for 10 years. I'm gonna beat the crap out of this thing.